TV-style broadcast for one of my local tracks coming up.
Sweet!
I'm excited, so I get to use the experience I've gotten here towards that.
Awesome, man.
All right, we are back. Mic's open.
Race on Texas, one of the big affiliates of LSR TV, thanks to what Chris David does, and of course our producer Cody Wooten, also a big part of Race on Texas. So get that speed pass and be a part of all the great coverage of reality racing and virtual racing here on LSR TV. Greg Rentz, Wesley Allen, back on lap number 20 of 134. You haven't missed a thing. It's still the same thing as if we went to break. Greg, no change in the top two.
No change in the top two, but I'm keeping my eye on a guy who we talked about a little bit just because of how close he cut it. He missed practice, missed the driver's meeting, was unloading the truck in practice. Caden Anderson in the 37 started 9th. He's already up to 6th. So the 37 truck, despite the fact that he missed qualifying, or almost missed qualifying, missed practice, pretty much no time on the track whatsoever, running very strong. That just goes to show you just how talented that young man in the 37 is behind the wheel. And I'm excited, really, to get to see him wheel a real-life race car next week, because he is one of about 30 or so late models that's going to be at the first real race in the Northwest this season, coming up at State Line Speedway in a week. So I'm excited to see Caden Anderson back on the track in real life, and he's showing us right now just how much speed he has in his iRacing truck. We're excited to see what he's got next week.
That's awesome news. So glad to start to see the resurgence of normalcy happen again for racing as Auto Club Speedway tonight for the iRacing Northwestern Truck Series. And one of the cool things, Greg, is a lot of the drivers that run in this racing league are real-time race car drivers.
Yeah, most of them are. And it's not just pavement drivers either. The West family that's leading the way right now, Devin and Dan, made their name on dirt. Dan West Jr., a former sprint car driver, made starts all over the country in the ASCS, I found out not too long ago. His son, Devin, made a name for himself in legend cars on a couple of years ago and won just about every Legends race there was to win, but he has since followed in the footsteps of his father, Dan. He has moved into dirt modifieds over the last couple of seasons. So we see drivers of all sorts of disciplines. You have Caden Anderson we talked about. He ran Legends for the longest time. He stepped up in the late models this past season. Just a couple of drivers who have really made their names in real-life racing. He's not in the field tonight, but Sean Breitzman, he runs midget cars in the Northwest. So just so many different disciplines in this series, and they're all racing the trucks right now. It's just so much fun to have this series on iRacing every Thursday night here on LSR TV. These guys put on a show, and it's just so much fun to see drivers from all these different worlds of racing in the Northwest come together and put on this great show every Thursday. And that's just the truck series. That's not even counting the Cup series, where you have even more drivers show up on a Monday night.
Yeah, I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth, but a great segue. Every Monday night, of course, it is the LSR TV coverage of the Northwestern Cup Series, and that is the next round at Auto Club Speedway on Monday night. Join Justin Prince, Greg Rentz, and myself. I'll be from the play-by-play booth on to pit road. I love pit reporting. I love that different style of doing so many different things, Greg, because you can always find different things in a broadcast, whether it's pit reporting, reality, virtual, in the booth, color, pit reporting. I love pit reporting because you go in there, you talk to the drivers, you get their stories, you get in and you get off fast on pit stops. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been doing it the last couple of weeks, and I know the man of the series, Jeff Stabnow, enjoys what we get to do, and he says, man, I like when you cover the pits, so we have fun.
I gotta say, pit reporting is one of my favorite things to do in real life. I'm lucky enough to have gotten to pit report some of the biggest super late model races in the Northwest over the last few years, including the last 3 Fall Classics, which is our big race at the end of the season every year. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to pit report on that. I've had a couple things not go my way when it comes to that, by means of meeting my leg next to a car, and the car won that one. But it's definitely fun getting the pit report and bouncing in and out of the tower, moving to the production truck once in a while. So much fun to just see how it all goes, and all the little nooks and crannies that go into making a broadcast. And it's just so much fun to be able to bring this to you guys on LSR TV twice a week. And We love doing it. You guys are the reason we do it, and we love bringing you guys all the racing action. And boy, the West family, they are loving putting on the racing action right now because they are trading the lead back and forth. Devin just took the lead back from Dan there.
It's a family affair. A family affair of those two drivers continuing along here. Thank you for those that are watching. Continue to follow us and subscribe at LSR TV on YouTube. We're also on Facebook at LSR TV, at LSR TV on Instagram and Twitter. And guess what? I got to talk. Oh, sparks off the wall for the lead.
Devin West hit the wall, and I think Dan caught it as well. Suddenly, the two fastest trucks in town, 6 seconds ahead of third.
Wow.
They both have considerable damage.
Can we catch a replay of that? I wonder if our awesome production, Cody, was able to grab a replay in real time of what happened with the 5 and the double nickel. They're able to continue, but it's been probably the only highlight of the race so far. And, Greg, that could have been costly for the top two of the West family.
That could have been a disaster, and now I'm curious to see what that's going to do for these trucks. Wesley, this is such a big track. Aero is so important here that even the slightest damage can affect you. You won't see it as much in the trucks as opposed to the Cup Series, but now I'm really going to keep my eye on the trucks behind them. Stephen O'Hare, Jeff Stabnow, and others. Doesn't seem to affect them that time by as the gap stayed the same, but man, that could have changed the entire complexion of the race had that not gone the way it did. If that gone a little bit worse, this entire race would have been thrown on its lid.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That definitely would have been a different outcome for the event for sure, but they hold it together. Nonetheless, they hold it together. We'll still stay under the green flag, and again, that could have been a lot worse than it turned out to be, but we still stay green here at Auto Club Speedway. 200 miles, 134 laps on LSR TV of the Northwestern Truck Series. West and West show continues. And here's the thing, Greg. Even though they bounced off the wall and hit each other, they still, for the most part, never lost ground to the rest of the pack. They're still an interval of over 7 seconds to Stabnow and company. And Stabnow and O'Hare have a nice battle for third off turn 2.
Yeah, checking in on that battle. Jeff Stabnow getting back around Stephen O'Hare in the 41. So Stabnow going back to work, trying to get around the 41 of Stabnow. Don't look now, but look who has just cracked the top 5. Wesley, Caden Anderson has just taken the 5th spot away from Dennis Moore, and I believe Dennis Moore caught the wall the previous lap also, as both Caden Anderson and now Chris White able to get up. And Chris White, another driver running the Ford F-150 for the first time tonight. Remember, Wesley, a few weeks ago, Chris White made the switch over from Chevy to Ford in the Cup Series.
That's right.
And now he gets to make the switch to Ford in the Truck Series. Seems to be the Ford is really working for him, but he missed it in qualifying. Qualified 17th. He was the slowest of the cars or trucks to take time. He has already worked up to 6th. So that 83 has some speed. Looks like Chris White and the Ford seem to get along pretty well.
Ryan Maines on pit road as well, to the attention of his crew, working lap 31 of 134, close it in on 100 laps to go. And again, as we see the Armor All number 13 of Ryan Maines on pit road, you have not missed a thing here at the iRace and eSports broadcast of the Northwestern Racing Truck Series presented by Waltz Beard Co. Again on LSR TV, the battle is the West family, father-son, flip-flopping 1 and 2, working now lap 31 of 134, just shy of 100 to go here at Auto Club Speedway.
Long race, so a lot of drivers going to be taking it easy. Multiple pit stops definitely on deck. And Wesley, lap 31. So this is about when we started expecting drivers anyway. So Ryan Maines leading the charge when it comes to pit stops. And he's going to have the freshest tires on track for the time being until the rest of these guys come in. So how much of an advantage is that going to be for Ryan Maines until these guys pull in with the fresh tires?
We'll see. As we have more on pit road, here comes Jeff Stabnow. Remember, we said it was going to be between 31 to 35 laps the pit window would be. That's what our producers and working on our broadcast notes were telling us before we came live on the air. And here comes the Waltz Beard Co. entry of Jeff Stabnow all the way to pit stall number 1. Right side tires being put on the number 24 entry as he drops down to the last truck on the lead lap on the scoring pylon, and your ticker on the upper left of the broadcast screen. New change of tires on the left, on the right. Splash of Sunoco fuel in the tank. He roars back out onto pit road. And as we also see Vining, Harris, Green, and Grande exit and make their way onto the pits as well for green flag pit stops, could Stabnow get the upper hand for pitting before the rest of the pack did?
We will see. And Wesley, one thing to talk about here is
for the lead.
For the lead, Devin West and Dan trading it once again. This time Devin gets the lead back in. One thing that these drivers are definitely thankful for, which is something that I just learned about exists in the Cup race at Darlington the Cup race at Martinsville last night. Did you know what a droop chain was before it broke on Bubba Wallace's car last night?
I never knew what a droop chain was. That's a new name for me. I'll have to do some research with some of my NASCAR pit reporter friends and find out exactly what a droop chain is.
Apparently it helps raise the chassis when the jackman jacks the car up, so it only has to do one pump of the jack and you're good. It broke on Bubba Wallace's car last night, so the jackman was having to jack the car up 3 times because that chain wasn't helping lift the car. These drivers suddenly finding out what that is, they're suddenly very thankful that can't break in this sim.
So basically the droop bar is something that is on the jack of the cars that are hydraulics to make the cars jack up high in only 2 pushes, two tugs. Normally if you have your own automobile car and you get a flat tire on the side of the road, you pull out your regular jack, you got to pump that thing up about 40, 50 times or more to get some elevation. But basically that is a part that's on the Cup Series jack. So good observation there. Walters all on pit road. They're coming in for service as the first cycle of green flag pit stops are underway. So let's see here. They pitted between 31 to 35. The leaders have not pitted yet. So I would say 134 laps the race, and here come the leaders on the pit road right now. As I just say that, they took the words right out of my mouth. And as I say that, Greg, I'm thinking 3 green flag pit stops if we go green flag all the way to the finish, and that's what they're going to have to do.
I'm thinking maybe that's what it's going to be as well, but if you don't time it right, that could kind of make things interesting.
That's right.
Final laps of the race. I actually announced the race at Michigan, the sister track to this, on Tuesday. Came down the fuel mileage and the dominant car. Oh, Devin West. I'll finish that.
Oh!
Missed his pit stall.
Costly for West. Will that hurt him?
He had to back up. He overshot his pit stall, and then he backed too far. That's going to cost him dearly. As Dan West Jr., his father, already rolling. Devin West still getting the left sides on. And
the young man.
Held. Looks like he may have gotten a penalty on top of it.
What a tough break for the young man, Devin West, and I'm understanding there's possibly a penalty coming on the number 5. We'll check that and make sure. Wow, what a tough break.
That's a heartbreak for Devin West in the 5. Just another case of being so strong. And unfortunately coming up a little bit short there. Dennis Moore on pit road now in the number 34 after leading a couple laps. Dean Moore in the 33. The baseball trucks is where we're going to call him, as we don't know what the relationship is between Dennis and Dean Moore. Clearly a relation of some kind. Devin West just now was able to leave pit road. So man, oh man. Race leader now in a lot of trouble trying to get back up to speed. And he's going to need a caution as his father Dan and Jeff Stabnow both just lapped him. That was not for position. That was putting him a lap down, as they will inherit the race lead. Those two will. Rick Heffley, the only truck left that has yet to pit, in the number 62, and he's showing no intentions of coming down pit road this time, so he's going to stay out and lead a lap. He's got 12 seconds, and he's in the wall hard. I think he may have just blown the tire or something.
Oh, no.
Boy, that 62 just pounded the wall out of nowhere. I'm not sure what happened, but something went haywire on the 62 right as he was crossing the strike to lead, I believe, his first laps of the season, and suddenly that 62 has a lot of damage.
Yeah, Problems for Rick Henley in that 62 machine as Greg just reing it on hard into the outside retaining wall down the front straightaway here on the Tri-Bullet Auto Club. And now his Chevrolet Silverado is limping with the Texaco colors of the great Davey Allison. Down off of turn 3 and 4. He's at the bottom of the apron. You can tell that he is committing to coming to pit road.